Hey guys, welcome to Return to Tennis. I'm your host Aaron. This is basically kind of video log about my return to tennis. I'm sure there's some people out there that might find this a little interesting. They're maybe in the same situation that I was. I stopped playing tennis about 22 years ago, and I've decided to pick a racket back up. My son's going to start playing, and I figured I'd probably better be able to hit a ball because it's been a long time. He's going to start lessons soon, and I wanted to be at least competent enough to help him out on the court. So this is kind of going to be a log about my coming back to the sport, difficulties I might have. If I figure out how to do better video, I'll probably put some video of me up trying to hit balls. But these first couple episodes will be kind of about the background. So today I'm going to kind of talk about where I started and up to where I am now. So I started playing in high school my freshman year. I was 13. I'd never played tennis in my life. I wanted to play a sport. I was interested in it, thought it could be fun. So that's what I started with. And my school was not a tennis school. We weren't a strong program at all. We're actually one of the weaker programs. The head coach was one of the guidance counselors. He did his best to kind of get us ready, but he had to spend, he was one guy trying to help like 15 people. And of course, the top 7 players are the varsity squad. They're the ones those matches count. So we didn't really get a lot of attention in the bottom group. I was the second to worst player on my team. There was only one guy worse than me, and he wasn't that much worse. He was pretty close. Played that freshman year, just tried to keep the ball in more than anything else. But I really, at that point, developed a love for the sport. Like, I kind of found a sport that I really was passionate about. So that following summer, which was between freshman and sophomore year, myself and several of those other guys that were in that bottom group, we'd get together 5-6 days a week at the courts, and we would play from like 9 or 10 in the morning till like 4 in the afternoon. We wouldn't leave. We would bring food, snacks, and we spent countless hours all summer just playing tennis. Problem is, none of us really had any coaching or knew what to do or knew how to hit the ball. So a lot of it was trial and error. Back then, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no program that I could watch to figure out these skills. It was mostly us reading magazine articles, tennis magazine articles, and trying to follow what the pictures in the articles were telling us to do when we hit a ball. And like I said, it was a lot of trial and error, and over time, we kind of just figured it out. Second year we came back, I made the varsity squad. I was the 3rd or 4th player on the team. I'd worked really hard all through summer and most of the fall so that by springtime, I could move up on the team. Now, I told this same story to my son to try to encourage him that, through hard work, you can gain ground, that you can improve, you can move up, but it's hard work. And I said, how I got from the 2nd worst guy to like the 3rd place guy in a year? And him being a smart mouth and extremely smart and intelligent said, because a bunch of the other guys graduated, which was somewhat true. A lot of the senior guys on the varsity squad had graduated. A couple of other players had come in from other schools on transfers that were better than me. But that being said, there had been an entire group of guys ahead of me the previous year that should have moved to the varsity squad above me, and they didn't. I leapfrogged all of them, with the exception of maybe 3. Played through sophomore year, junior year, I moved up to the 2nd seed, 2nd place on the team, and I stayed there at 2nd singles for the rest of high school. And myself and the 1st singles guys, we actually played doubles tournaments together as representatives of our school. We won a couple of tournaments as doubles team. Not anything great. I wasn't a fantastic player. I was mostly self-taught. I did a lot of things and played in a lot of positions I was told were wrong to play but I had found a way to make it work for me because that's all, that's all I could do. When I graduated, I was probably about a 5 rated player, a USTA rating 5, or very close to it. I was recruited by several colleges. I was offered scholarships, mostly Division II, Division III schools. I had received an offer from a small partial scholarship offer from Capital University in Ohio. There was a school in Tennessee and a school in Kentucky as well that offered partial scholarships. The problem with those scholarships is they're private schools, and you offer me $5,000, $7,500, $3,000 or $3,000 a year, I still have to take out loans in the tune of, by graduation, about $40,000. And I just couldn't justify going $40,000 into debt to play tennis at a school that didn't offer an academic program that interested me. So in essence, I would pay 40 grand to just keep playing tennis and then graduate with a degree in a discipline I had no interest in. So I opted not to do that. I decided to just go to the local university, which is Ohio State. And I continued to play in college. I played with classmates who were high-level players themselves that had transferred to Ohio State from other places. Well, I played intramurals as well. I was overseas for a time. I was in Asia. I spent a year in China. I played a little bit there. I spent a couple years in Korea, and I played 2 years of the time that I was there. But the older I got, when I started getting into 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, I was still playing, but I started playing less and less. I had other physical activities and other interests that had started taking up more of my time. And by 2000, I had kind of just walked away from playing tennis. I had just no time. I had no time. Between work and the other activities I was involved in, tennis just didn't fit anymore. And that was the last time I played, was in 2000. Fast forward to now, 2022, still in pandemic. Tennis is a great sport for pandemic. It's just you and another guy, and you're opposite ends of the court. No one's nearby. Great sport to play. My son's going to start lessons in the spring, about 2 months now. I said, okay, I should get a racket. I should get some rackets. I should start playing. Found a club, where the same club that he was going to be taking lessons, and they let non-members come in on Saturdays and do a skills course. Great. I went in and thoroughly embarrassed myself. At one point, I hit a ball from our court over the dividing section of the building and into the side where the women's drills classes were. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. It's kind of embarrassing, but that's kind of why I'm making this log. Is I'm sure there's other people out there like me that walked away from tennis, were too busy with work, too busy with family, too busy with other activities outside that would keep them from playing, and they kind of miss it and they want to go back to it. They've been out so long, they don't feel they can go back. They don't feel like if they go into a club and try to join a class or a training session or just some kind of activities involving tennis, that they're going to embarrass themselves when they used to be really good players. It's okay. Just go out and play. It's okay to embarrass yourself a little bit. I mean, just because you were great once doesn't mean you can't be great again. You can. But you got to put the effort in. It's going to be work. It's going to be a lot of work coming back. And that's what I'm here to document, is my work coming back. So that's all I got to say for today. I hope anyone that tunes in to check this out feels maybe a little inspired to pick a racket up again, or to at least maybe follow me on my journey a little bit, and before they decide, am I strong enough mentally to go out there and risk somebody maybe laughing at me a little bit to do this. Next episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about my racket history, what I used to play with and moved up from, and what I'm playing with now and what I enjoy. But until then, this is Return to Tennis. I'm Aaron, and I now return you to your regular scheduled programming.